Well, welcome to the Boxing Voice. I'm delighted to be here with Welsh legend Gary Lockett. How are you, Gary?
Hi, praise indeed. I'm very well, thank you.
I'm biased, as I said to you earlier. You gave me some good childhood memories. Fight against Pavlik didn't go your way, but you went up against the best.
No, there are plenty of good nights over the years, but obviously that was just a step too far. Unfortunately, when I got my shot at a world title, it was against one of the pound greats. So yes. It is what it is, and you have to take your chances while you're there, don't you?
Here you are, passing that knowledge on to the next generation. You've had a busy night tonight. You've got a great proper talent. Variety of styles, different types of fighters. Happy with how it all went today?
Yeah, happy with a few of the performances. There was a couple of flat performances from the guys as well, but you know they're fighting guys that are coming to survive. So, you know, a lot of the time when you're trying to hit someone and knock someone out, when they're just running, and whenever you get close, they're holding and trying to run the tackle. It's difficult to be good against someone like that. But you know, we had 5 on tonight, 4 of them were on points, and then Kieran Jones last on, he had a big first round knockout. So a pleasing night, but it's all experience for the boys, and when it's focus for the Bills, also these boys can fight on the Bills, otherwise they have no way to go.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I guess the main thing is after the pandemic, keep the novice pros back out, and then they can start.
Oh yeah, you know, it was horrific through the lockdown. Some of the boys went a year without fighting. Some boys packed it in. There's a lot of boys, especially journeymen, packed it in because they were out in the ring so long, they let their licenses lapse and never, you know, sort of went into their license again. So it's brilliant to be going again, so to speak.
Yeah, it would be sad, especially some of the talented young people that are still out of the game. Yeah, so credit to the I mean, young Kieran,
yeah, do you know Kieran, he had 3 years out, he had an elbow injury, he had an operation on his elbow, so he effectively had 3 years out. And I think it really knocked him back. So, you know, I knew Kieran was, but then when he turned pro, I'm thinking, you know, this isn't the Kieran that I remember. He's gone backwards. But this camp, I've noticed that magic spark has started to come back. And I think he saw it tonight. You know, he didn't rush his work. Well, he did when he dropped the guy, but I mean, you know, he went out there, he boxed, he took his time, and that's what I told him, you know, when you box and you take your time, that's when you're going to land a big shot, rather than going in and loading it and trying to force it, and it happened tonight, and I thought that he put his shots together really well to finish the guy off.
Yeah, kid's far too modest. When I interviewed him, he said he's just a boxer. I mean, the kid can punch. He's a boxer puncher.
He is a boxer, but you know, I think with his talent, his judgment of distance, and his accuracy, that kind of makes him a puncher, doesn't it? So he is very modest. And listen, that's what it's supposed to be like. It's not supposed to be like I'm this, I'm that. You start calling yourself out when you've done something. You know, Kieran's very sensible. He's got a university degree, and you know, he's sensible enough to know that he doesn't start shouting his mouth off until he's actually done something to shout about. So. Yeah, it's modest, and to be honest, in my camp, that's the way that I like to bring them through. I don't like them, you know, the one boy made his debut tonight, and you know, the guy that he was fighting was poking his tongue out, and he started doing it back. So I told him in the corner, I said, look, you're better than that. Don't do that. Poke the face. You know, do your talking with the punches. And I gave him a little bit of a warning in the corner. He didn't do it again. So yeah, no, but as I say, you know, a pleasing night. 5 wins out of 5, and on to the next one.
Yeah, I mean. I've been asking a couple of top coaches, John David Jackson and Shane McGuigan recently.
Yeah.
It's a modern phenomenon that you get these guys who stay in the amateurs for so long that they're almost old when they turn pro. Yeah. Or you get the other extreme where you get, you know, youngsters like Campbell Hatton, they have virtually no amateur experience and then just turn pro. Yeah. I mean, you've got the right blend, from what I remember back in your day. A lot of amateur experience, but are still young when they turn pro. You got the right sort of blend there?
Yeah, you know, it's an interesting sort of question that you asked me, and I think there's a fine line, isn't it? You know, I've got Rhys Edwards, who, you know, well, he's got a big contract now. I can't say too much, but you know, he's 12-0, turned pro at 18. He's very immature is not the word. He's just his body. And as a boy, he's not 21. He's more like 15, 16. He's got a lot of growing up to do, both mentally and physically. But he wanted the Welsh ABA wanted him to sign a contract, and he was something like £65 a week. What are you going to do for £65 a week? You know, you spend more on wine and beer than that, too. But so he was kind of forced into turning pro. So I put him with Mo Pryor. Mo Pryor gave him good sponsorship, and we basically chose all the opponents wisely. We put him against southpaws. We put him against guys that run, guys that come forward. You name it. We were able to pick the opponents, and I think now he's had a good blend of sort of getting used to different opponents, and I think he's ready now to sort of step him up just a level. But I'm not going to rush. And then, you know, so many people in Wales, he should be fighting this guy. Listen, let me be the judge of that. He'll step up, you know, to the level that people expect when I'm ready. That you know, and when I'm satisfied that he can do so. You know, he could probably beat a load of these people now. He's very, very talented. But I know I've gone off on a tangent there, but he was one at like the extreme, like he turned pro a little bit too early, but he was forced into it, really. And then I understand what you mean. You know, sometimes these guys stay amateur so long, don't they? And then by the time they turn pro, you think, well, your best years have passed you, and your best years were in the amateurs, and they turn pro, they don't really do anything then. So it is a fine line, and knowing when to turn pro, I think, is very important. And I think, you know, over the age of 25, 26, it becomes very difficult, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's interesting.
But then again, there are people that have proven me wrong. I mean, look at Joe Joyce. Joe Joyce is getting on it now, and he's doing extremely well. He turned pro late, didn't he? So there's lots of people that prove me wrong, but I just think you're better off having a good amateur career and then not staying in the amateurs too long, just as you said.
Yeah. I think when I spoke to John David Jackson, he was saying the problem is that in America, you don't get the kids starting at a young age. So you get guys like, for example, Anthony Joshua and Deontay Wilder, examples of guys who became, I mean, they first stepped into the boxing ring around the age of 18. Most of the greats by that point had already been 4 or 5, 6 years.
Yeah, I understand.
And so they're getting by on athletic ability, and then they're trying to play catch up in terms of
especially Wilder, you know, getting by, and people say he's got one punch, he's got one right hand. Listen, he's got more than that. He hasn't got to where he's got to just by having just a haymaker of a right hand. I mean, if you look at that last fight against Tyson Fury, I mean, you know, that's an example for anyone how tough boxers are. You know, you look at that fight, and the mics were pretty loud in the ring that night, and you hear the shots going in. You think, wow, you know. And Wilder, even though he was absolutely knackered, wasn't he, from about maybe the 5th round, you know, the guts that he showed to dig in and get around, you know, and get through to the 11th round was, you know, he basically earned my respect, that's for sure. Because I didn't respect him a lot because some of the things that he's been saying on interviews and, you know, wanting to kill on the record and stuff like that. I mean, there's no place for that in boxing, but he did earn a little bit of respect back with his toughness and his never say die attitude. But,
interesting. Do you think it helps having your fighters more on these small shows? Because, you know, I spoke to Eddie Hearn, for example, and he often talks about, well, look, if you're getting a platform like he provides, well, it comes with greater expectation. Hence, Campbell Hatton is thrown right in and gets the criticism, when really he should be on small hall shows, fighting these sort of opponents, learning his trade.
Yeah, but unfortunately with Campbell, you know, with his dad's name, it was always going to be like that. He was always going to be thrust into the spotlight, and you know, he's one of those, they just need to take their time with him, and they just need to let him learn on the job. And I think, I didn't see his last fight, but I understand that he did a lot better in his last fight. I think he wasn't too good in the fights before that, but just goes to show obviously he's working with his uncle, Matthew, who's been there and done it himself, you know, European champion, beating with Kell Brook, beating with a lot of guys, beating with Canelo as well, so been there, done it, so he's improving under his uncle, so that's brilliant. But you know, again, the fighters on these platforms like Matchroom and Sky, and they're the lucky ones. You know, they're the lucky ones because they don't have to sell massive amounts of tickets. These guys are earning no matter how many tickets there. So, you know, we have like Joe Cordina in the gym. That's obviously trains with Tony Sims in Essex. But when he's out of fights or when he's out of camp, he's a local boy to us, so he trains in our gym. So, you know, he was a European champion, as an amateur and an Olympian, so when he turned pro naturally, he was given the red, I call it the red carpet treatment. So it doesn't matter how many tickets he sells, because he's on Sky, or sorry, he was on Sky at the time with Matchroom, now he's on Dazn. He kind of, being on that, with all that platform, with all those viewers, you kind of build your own following. Do you see what I mean? Whereas the guys on small hall bills, if they don't sell from the start, they don't sell well from the start, they've got to work very, very, very hard to get a following. Whereas if you turn pro and you've got a platform like Sky, or Dazn, or even BT, Fox Nation, things like that, then you build an audience just by being on TV. So it's an added bonus, obviously, to have done very, very well in the amateurs. Like I said, people say, oh, it's okay for Pauline, or it's okay for Luca Coleman, it's okay for this guy. That basically goes through, yeah, but you know what? They put the work in the amateurs, they won the accolades in the amateurs to warrant that. So it's disappointing, obviously, when you got guys on small hall bills and you can't really get them on the bigger bills. But it does ultimately come down to how well you've done in the amateurs, I think.
It's fair, I mean, you were a pretty good middleweight in your day. If I could cast your mind back a couple of weeks, we had a really massive middleweight fight here in Cardiff. Your compatriot Liam
Williams.
Yeah, came up quite short against Eubank. What did you make of that fight?
To me, Liam wasn't right going in that ring. I've never seen Liam drop the shots like that. So, I don't know. I don't know what went on. I spoke to Liam the morning after, very briefly. But I don't know what happened. To me, that wasn't Liam Williams in the ring, because I've seen Liam Williams. You could hit him with a baseball bat. I mean, look at the Andre fight. He got hurt in the first. He got dropped in the second, and then he kind of got used to the power, and he went all the way through the fight without ever getting hurt. But to see him going down from those counter, don't get me wrong, they were good punches. They were counter punches. I don't think it goes down from shots like that. So, I don't know if anything went wrong in camp or what have you. But look, Liam's still a very good friend of mine, and it's just so disappointing to see that. A massive night in Cardiff like that, and obviously coming up short, really, really hard. And obviously, I had Reece Edwards on right after, so we were watching on the TV. And it just wasn't. I don't think it was good for Reece either watching it on the TV, because Reece comes right from where Liam is as well. They're good friends. So it put a real downer on our night, to be honest. So even I had Chris Jenkins beat Julius Ndongo, full world champion. I had Reece win, which has earned him more time on Sky as well. But it was a bit of an anti-climax for me, as I say, because of what happened with Liam. But so it was very disappointing for me.
What do you make of Eubank and this new mimicking the Roy Jones style? Did that will work for him at another top level?
I don't know. I guess we're going to see, because there's some mooted fights, isn't there? They mentioned Brooke, they mentioned sort of Conor Benn and guys like that. So I guess we'll see. Roy Jones is a legend of the sport. So he knows exactly what he's doing. But I guess we'll see. Maybe it's a little bit too early to judge. But I don't know.
A lot of people say about Jones, well, when you're as talented as that and you've got through your career, your greatness is because of your athletic gift. Can you teach it?
You can't teach that.
So
that's the sticking point, isn't it? But regardless of that, you can't teach the talent that he's got, but he might still be a very good teacher. Regardless of not being able to teach the talent. Look, it's the same as myself. I was a natural puncher in the amateurs. I 95, knocked out about 60. I knocked out 28 on the trot. So I was always a natural puncher. And for me, I can't teach that. I had 4 guys with points victories tonight. I'm thinking, shit, why don't you stick them with the left hook and end it? It's not as easy as that. You can't teach. You have to be born with it, and it's the same with Roy Jones. But nevertheless, I can't teach it, but I think I'm a pretty good teacher. I think I know what I'm doing. Obviously not the best trainer in the world, but I think I know what I'm doing. So, we're doing pretty well at the moment in the gym. So I think the same with Roy Jones. He's obviously a very good teacher. I haven't been there and done it.
I think you're being largely modest. You might not be the best coach in the world, but you are damn good. And what you do with these youngsters, what we saw tonight,
yeah, but look, these guys have to be good in the first place, don't they? Because you can't take someone who can't fight, and then all of a sudden you train them for 5-6 months, and all of a sudden they can fight. They have
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, Gary, it's been an absolute pleasure. Like I said, it's always great to.
Best coach of the Europe minimum.
See, I told you you're too modest. Even your opponents are telling you how great a coach you are.
Thanks.
Gary, we look forward to seeing
Nice to meet you.
the journey with your fighters and see how they get on this year.
Great.
Thank you.
For the video, feel free to hit the like, subscribe, and share. As always, if you want to support us to the next level, head over to the patreon.com/ThaBoxingVoice. We have tons of exclusive from Border Wars, entitled betting shows. The list goes on and on and on. But in addition to that, if you guys have questions for fighters, trainers, and promoters, this is where you can submit them. We will run out, get these questions answered, and put it back on the show just for you guys. Appreciate it. Peace.